All right, let's talk about the German alphabet. If you've ever seen a German word and felt your brain just kind of short circuit, you're definitely not alone. But what if I told you there's a simple key to unlock it all? Let's get started. Okay, feast your eyes on this monster of a word. And yes, it is absolutely real. It was actually a law about beef labeling, of all things. Seeing something like this, it's easy to think German is just impossible. It's the classic stereotype, right? Long, complicated, and frankly, a little terrifying. I mean, it looks complicated, doesn't it? That's a totally normal reaction. But here's the secret I'm going to let you in on. That complexity, it's basically an illusion. And I'm about to show you exactly why. And here is the really good news. German is surprisingly orderly and phonetic. Once you know the rules, they almost never change. Not like English with all its crazy exceptions. In German, what you see is pretty much what you get. So, how many brand new letters do you need to learn? Well, take a look at this number. That's right, 26. The German alphabet has the exact same 26 letters as English. You already know them all. So, if the letters are the same, what's the catch? There has to be a catch, right? Well, it's not really a catch, just a few new rules for some old friends. Let's look at the key differences. This chart here breaks it down perfectly. These are the 4 letters that usually trip up English speakers. The J is always a Y sound. The V is always an F sound. The W is always a V sound. And the Z is always a T sound, kind of like at the end of the word cats. You master these 4, and you are well on your way. Now for the really fun part. On top of the 26 letters you already know, German adds 4 special characters. These are the only truly new symbols you need to learn. And trust me, they are not as scary as they look. First up is the A umlaut. See those 2 little dots over the A? That's an umlaut. And it just changes the A sound to an I sound, like in bed. You'll see it used a lot for plurals, so Apfel becomes Äpfel. And here's a handy tip. If you can't type it, AE works just fine. Now, the U umlaut is a fun one because it's a sound we don't really have in English. Here's the trick. Start to say like in the word her, but then round your lips like you're about to say O. It's the sound in schön, which fittingly means beautiful. And just like the U umlaut, the U umlaut doesn't have a perfect English match. The best way to get it is to say E, but then purse your lips like you're about to whistle, without moving your tongue. You'll hear it in words like für, which means for. And finally, we have this very German-looking letter. It's called an eszett, or a sharp S. All it is a sharp S sound, like in the word see. Just think of it as a fancy double S. And a little fun fact for you, in Switzerland, they don't even use it. They just write SS instead. All right, so we've tackled the individual letters. Now let's look at how they team up. This is where you'll really start to see the beautiful logic of German pronunciation. This table shows just how predictable German is. Sh is always sh. I is always I. E is always E. And oi or oi is always oi. You memorize these few combos, and you can instantly sound out thousands of words. No guesswork needed. The ch sound is one of the few with a little twist, but the rule is incredibly simple. After front vowels like I or E, it's a soft hiss, like you're fogging up a pair of glasses. You hear it in the word ich. But after back vowels like A or O, it's a deeper sound from your throat, like in the name Bach. So you've mastered the sounds, but what if you need to spell a word out loud over the phone? Well, like many languages, German has a spelling alphabet, and its story is surprisingly fascinating. For decades, the system was based on common first names. You'd say A for Anton, B for Berta, S for Samuel. This was the standard that generations of Germans grew up with. But this alphabet also reflects history. In 1934, the Nazi regime removed names of Hebrew origin, so Samuel was replaced with Siegfried and Zacharias was replaced with Zeppelin. It's a pretty stark reminder of how politics can influence something as basic as language. And that evolution is still happening. In 2022, a new standard was introduced, replacing all the personal names with city names to be more modern and inclusive. So today, it's A for Aachen, B for Berlin, and Z for Zwickau. As simple as the modern German alphabet is, it's pretty easy to forget that it wasn't always this clear. Let's take a quick glimpse into the past. Just look at this. For centuries, German was written in these complex, ornate scripts. I mean, trying to read these really makes you appreciate just how clean and simple the modern alphabet really is. So, what does all of this mean? Well, it means you now have the key. You have the tools to decode a language that once might have seemed totally impossible. So let's remember the key takeaways. The foundation is 26 letters you already know. There are only 4 new characters, and the pronunciation rules are incredibly consistent. You now have everything you need to confidently sound out almost any German word. So, now you know the secret. Behind those long, intimidating words is a simple, logical system. The code isn't so hard to crack after all. The only question left is, are you ready to start reading?